The vast emptiness of space held a secret, a hidden pocket of existence where humanity's last remnants were trapped. Dai Xin stood near the transparent observation dome, her fingers tracing the faint lines of quantum barriers that surrounded their compressed civilization. Outside, nothing but absolute darkness stretched infinitely. Generations had passed since the alien confederation sealed away human civilization. They believed humans were too unpredictable, too dangerous to be allowed freedom in the galactic community. The reasons were complex, rooted in a history of misunderstandings and fear. 60 years ago, when the sealing happened, no one truly understood the magnitude of what was occurring. Massive quantum-dimensional technologies activated, compressing an entire human population into a microscopic pocket of reality. Entire cities, technologies, and cultures were compressed like data into a tiny computational space. Day remembered the stories her grandmother told her, how massive alien ships surrounded Earth, how strange energy fields began to pulse and compress their entire civilization into this artificial dimension. The older generations spoke of green and blue skies, of oceans and mountains, things that seemed like distant myths now. Their current home was a marvel of survival. Multiple interconnected habitat modules formed a complex network, each designed to support different aspects of human existence. Agricultural zones, research centers, living quarters, and industrial sections were meticulously organized. Every resource was recycled, every piece of technology optimized for maximum efficiency. The habitat's environmental systems were a testament to human adaptability. Artificial sunlight cycled through day and night patterns. Hydroponic gardens produced food with genetic modifications that allowed maximum nutrition from minimal resources. Water was continuously purified and recycled through advanced molecular reconstruction technologies. Day worked as a quantum systems engineer, responsible for maintaining the habitat's complex infrastructure. Her daily tasks involved monitoring energy distributions, checking quantum stabilization fields, and ensuring the micro-civilization's survival. She wore a standard gray jumpsuit, typical of the functional clothing designed for efficiency and comfort. Her team was different from previous generations. They were born in this compressed dimension, understanding survival as their primary language. They knew nothing of open skies or unlimited horizons. Their world was defined by technical precision, collaborative survival, and an unspoken determination to understand their imprisonment. The alien confederation had specific reasons for sealing humans away. Historical records, partially preserved, suggested humans possessed an extraordinary capacity for rapid technological adaptation and unexpected problem-solving skills. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Where others calculated risks, humans took revolutionary leaps. Rumors circulated about why they were sealed. Some believed humans had developed technologies that threatened galactic power structures. Others suggested human emotional complexity and unpredictability made them a potential universal disruption. Whatever the reason, they were now confined, watched, and isolated. Day often wondered about the world outside. The quantum barriers allowed minimal external sensory data, just enough to confirm the habitat's continued existence in the broader universal framework. Occasional energy pulses and distant quantum resonances hinted at a vast, complex universe beyond their compressed reality. Her research team had been secretly studying the quantum barriers for years. They understood these weren't just walls, but complex technological constructs designed to contain and suppress human potential. Every microscopic analysis revealed new layers of complexity, suggesting the alien confederation's technology was advanced but not infallible. The habitat's population had stabilized around 50,000 individuals, a small but resilient community that had transformed survival into an art form. Education focused on collective problem-solving, technological innovation, and maintaining their complex ecosystem. Children learned quantum mechanics alongside basic survival skills, a unique educational approach born from their extraordinary circumstances. As Day finished her daily system diagnostics, a slight anomaly caught her attention. A microscopic fluctuation in the quantum barrier's structural integrity. something most would dismiss as a minor technical glitch. But to her, it looked like something more, a potential weakness, a possible pathway. She smiled, a rare expression in a world defined by calculated precision. Something was changing. Something was about to shift. And humanity, sealed away but never truly defeated, was ready. The habitat hummed with quiet intensity, a living system of interconnected human resilience. Generations had passed since their dimensional imprisonment and survival had become an intricate dance of adaptation and innovation. June Park walked through the central research corridor, his footsteps echoing against metallic walls that had witnessed decades of silent struggle. Young engineers and scientists worked at compact stations, their eyes focused on holographic displays showing complex data streams. Unlike their ancestors, these humans knew nothing of open skies or natural landscapes. Each habitat module represented a carefully engineered ecosystem. Agricultural sections used advanced genetic manipulation to produce crops that could grow in minimal space with maximum efficiency. Protein cultures developed from modified cellular structures replaced traditional farming. Water recycling systems captured and purified every single droplet, ensuring nothing was wasted. The population had learned to view resources differently. Where previous generations might have seen limitations, these humans saw opportunities for innovation. Children were taught from early ages that survival wasn't just about existing, but about constant improvement and adaptation. Dai Xin's research team had become something of a legend within the habitat. They were the quiet rebels, constantly probing the quantum barriers that contained their civilization. Their work was dangerous. Studying the very walls of their prison could potentially trigger defensive mechanisms designed by the alien confederation. Genetic modifications had subtly changed human physiology over these generations. People developed enhanced metabolic efficiency, better radiation resistance, and improved cognitive capabilities. The compressed environment had literally reshaped human potential, creating a species more adapted to technological survival than ever before. Communication within the habitat happened through advanced neural networks. Personal devices were integrated directly into biological systems, allowing instantaneous information exchange. Privacy existed, but it was different. More about mental boundaries than physical separation. Education was a continuous process. Every individual was expected to contribute to the collective survival. Technical skills, problem-solving abilities, and collaborative thinking were valued more than individual achievements. Children learned quantum mechanics alongside emotional intelligence, creating a unique approach to human development. The habitat's governance was a meritocratic system. Leadership positions were earned through demonstrated problem-solving skills, technical expertise, and commitment to collective survival. No single person held absolute power. Decisions were made through complex algorithmic consensus mechanisms. June understood the psychological weight of their situation. Their entire civilization existed within a space smaller than a traditional city block, compressed into a quantum-dimensional pocket. Yet they had transformed this limitation into an opportunity for unprecedented human evolution. Rumors circulated about the world outside. Some spoke of vast alien civilizations, complex, galactic political structures, and technologies beyond human imagination. These stories became a form of cultural mythology, passed down through generations as both inspiration and cautionary tales. Research teams like Dai's continuously studied the quantum barriers. They mapped microscopic fluctuations, analyzed energy patterns, and developed increasingly sophisticated understanding of their containment. It was a slow, patient process of gathering knowledge, each small discovery potentially holding the key to their eventual freedom. The habitat's environmental systems were a marvel of engineering. Artificial sunlight cycles mimicked natural day-night patterns. Temperature, humidity, and atmospheric composition were constantly monitored and adjusted. Every breath, every movement was part of a complex, interconnected system of survival. Psychological adaptation was equally important. Community support systems, mental health technologies, and collective emotional management became critical survival skills. Isolation could have been devastating, but these humans had transformed their confined existence into a source of strength. June watched a group of young researchers discussing a new quantum mapping technique. Their eyes burned with the same curiosity and determination that had kept their species alive through generations of confinement. They weren't just surviving, they were preparing, learning, evolving. As he completed his daily systems review, a slight energy fluctuation caught his attention. Most would have dismissed it as a minor technical anomaly. But in a world where survival depended on noticing the smallest details, even the tiniest change could mean everything. Something was shifting. Something was about to change. And humanity, sealed away but never truly defeated, was ready. The quantum barrier trembled. For the first time in generations, a microscopic fracture appeared, barely visible yet pregnant with possibility. Dai Xin's monitoring system flickered with an unexpected energy signature, something that had never been recorded before. Her hands moved quickly across the holographic interface, capturing every millisecond of data. The fracture was tiny, smaller than a human hair, but it represented something monumental. A weakness in the dimensional prison that had contained humanity for decades. June Park rushed into the research chamber, his eyes wide with excitement and scientific curiosity. "Are you seeing this?" he asked, his voice a mixture of hope and controlled professional tension. The team around them worked with intense concentration, each person understanding the potential significance of this moment. The fracture wasn't just a simple structural weakness. It represented a potential pathway, a tiny doorway between their compressed reality and the vast universe beyond. Years of careful research, countless simulations, and persistent investigation had prepared them for this exact moment. Their habitat's technological systems began to respond. Quantum sensors that had been dormant for generations suddenly came alive, mapping the intricate details of the dimensional breach. Each sensor was a result of generations of innovative engineering, designed to understand and potentially exploit their containment. Dai understood the risks. One wrong move could potentially trigger the alien Confederation's defensive mechanisms. The quantum barriers were not just physical walls, but complex technological constructs designed to suppress and contain human potential. Breaching them required precision, calculation, and an understanding that went beyond traditional scientific approaches. The research team worked in perfect synchronization. Some monitored energy signatures, others analyzed structural integrity, while a specialized group began developing quantum destabilization protocols. Their movements were calculated, their breathing synchronized, a living machine of human potential. Genetic modifications developed over generations made this team uniquely qualified. Their bodies could withstand higher radiation levels, process complex quantum information faster, and maintain cognitive clarity under extreme stress. They were not just scientists. They were the evolutionary result of decades of technological and biological adaptation. Communication happened through a combination of advanced neural networks and verbal exchanges. Each team member understood their role, their potential contribution to this critical moment. No individual ego existed here, only a collective drive to understand and potentially escape their dimensional prison. Hours passed. The fracture remained, stable, defying initial expectations. Most scientific models predicted such a quantum anomaly would collapse within minutes. Yet this breach remained, almost as if it were waiting, challenging their understanding of dimensional physics. June's analysis suggested the breach might be more than a random occurrence. Subtle energy patterns indicated a potential external trigger. Something beyond their compressed dimension was creating this opportunity. Was it intentional, a mistake, or something entirely unexpected? The habitat's leadership was quickly informed. Emergency protocols were activated, but not with fear or panic. Instead, there was a sense of calculated preparation. Generations of survival had taught them that unexpected events were not threats, but potential opportunities. Backup systems were activated. Specialized quantum containment units were prepared. If this breach could be studied, potentially expanded, it might provide the first real pathway to understanding their imprisonment. More importantly, It might offer a route to freedom. Days, hands moved with surgical precision across her control systems. Each movement was a delicate dance of mathematical calculations and intuitive understanding. She wasn't just observing the breach, she was communicating with it, understanding its language of quantum mechanics. The team knew their history. Humans had been sealed away because other galactic civilizations feared their adaptability, their capacity for unexpected innovation. This moment was proving exactly why they had been contained, and why they might soon break free. As artificial light cycled through its programmed patterns, the quantum breach remained, a small promising window of potential. It was more than a technical anomaly. It was hope, compressed into a microscopic point of quantum possibility. Something was about to change. Humanity's silent imprisonment was reaching its breaking point. The quantum barrier shattered like fragile glass. Silence transformed into controlled chaos as humanity burst from their compressed dimension, not with violence, but with calculated precision. Daishin watched the first moments of liberation through advanced quantum scanners. Their habitat, once a confined pocket of existence, expanded rapidly, reconnecting with the broader universal framework. Alien monitoring systems detected their emergence, triggering immediate alert protocols across multiple galactic communication networks. The Alien Confederation's initial response was pure shock. Humans were not the primitive, contained species they remembered. Generations of technological evolution had transformed them into something unexpected, a civilization that had turned limitation into extraordinary adaptation. Initial scans from alien observation platforms revealed a startling truth. The humans emerging were technologically advanced, psychologically balanced, and remarkably calm. No aggressive movements, no immediate confrontational signals. Instead, they began systematic exploration and communication preparations. June Park led the initial diplomatic preparation team. Their approach was deliberate: understand before engaging, analyze before responding. Centuries of confined existence had taught them patience and strategic thinking. They were not returning as conquerors, but as a civilization seeking understanding. Quantum communication systems activated, sending carefully constructed information packages. These were not simple messages, but complex data streams that demonstrated human technological capabilities, cultural developments, and peaceful intentions. Each transmission was a carefully crafted representation of their evolutionary journey. The habitat's transformation was instantaneous. Compressed modules expanded, revealing technologies that blended organic and technological systems in ways never before seen. Agricultural sections became adaptive ecosystems. Research centers displayed quantum computational abilities that surpassed most known galactic standards. Genetic modifications became immediately apparent. Humans had developed enhanced physiological capabilities, improved radiation resistance, accelerated learning mechanisms, and complex neural networks that allowed rapid information processing. They were no longer just survivors, they were a technologically evolved species. Alien Confederation monitoring teams watched in disbelief. The humans they had sealed away generations ago were nothing like the records suggested. Where previous observations indicated potential threat, these emerging humans demonstrated controlled strategic expansion. Communication channels opened slowly. Each transmission was a delicate dance of information exchange. Humans presented their history, their technological developments, their reasons for peaceful reintegration. They showed no signs of revenge or aggression, only a desire to understand and collaborate. The first direct communication came from Daishin. Her message was simple yet profound. "We are here to contribute, not conquer." Those words echoed through multiple galactic communication networks, challenging centuries of preconceived notions about human potential. Technological demonstrations followed. Quantum computing systems that could solve complex interdimensional problems in seconds. Adaptive medical technologies that could rapidly respond to multiple biological challenges. Energy generation systems that were both clean and incredibly efficient. June's diplomatic team prepared comprehensive cultural packages. These were not just information sets, but carefully constructed representations of human resilience, creativity, and collaborative potential. They showed a civilization that had transformed decades of confinement into an opportunity for collective growth. Alien Confederation leadership began emergency sessions. The humans were not what their historical records suggested. They were not a threat to be contained, but a potential ally with extraordinary capabilities. Each transmission challenged previous understanding, forcing a re-evaluation of human potential. The habitat continued its controlled expansion. Quantum barriers that once confined them now served as technological bridging mechanisms. They were not breaking free. They were carefully, strategically reintegrating. Every movement was calculated, every action a demonstration of evolved capabilities. Genetic memory carried the stories of confinement, but the emerging humans were not defined by their past imprisonment. They were a testament to human adaptability, to the capacity to transform limitation into opportunity. As alien observation platforms continued their scans, one thing became clear: humanity was back. Not with anger or revenge, but with a calm, strategic presence that would reshape galactic understanding. The galaxy watched as humanity revealed its true nature. Not as conquerors, but as a critical, universal problem-solving mechanism. The Alien Confederation discovered something extraordinary about the species they had feared and contained for generations. Dai Xin stood before the Galactic Council, her presentation changing everything they understood about human potential. She explained how their compressed existence had transformed them into a living, adaptive solution for complex universal challenges. Humans were not a threat. They were a necessary immune system for galactic stability. Centuries of isolation had developed unique capabilities within human civilization. Their technological adaptations went beyond traditional scientific understanding. Where other species saw obstacles, humans saw innovative solutions. Their genetic modifications allowed them to process information, adapt to environments, and solve problems at speeds previously unimaginable. The first demonstration came through a complex interdimensional problem that had stumped multiple advanced civilizations for decades. A quantum computational challenge that required simultaneous multidimensional thinking. The human team solved it in less than 3 hours, a task that would have taken other species centuries. June Park's diplomatic team presented comprehensive data packages. These were not just technological achievements, but a narrative of survival, adaptation, and collective growth. They showed how generations of confinement had not broken their spirit, but refined their collective potential. Alien scientists began to understand the real reason humans had been sealed away. It wasn't because they were dangerous, but because they were too powerful. Their ability to rapidly adapt, solve complex problems, and think beyond traditional technological limitations made them a potential game changer in galactic dynamics. The habitat that once confined them now became a model of technological and social innovation. Adaptive ecosystems, quantum communication networks, and collaborative social structures demonstrated a civilization that had transformed limitation into extraordinary potential. Every system was efficient, every process optimized for collective survival. Genetic modifications became a subject of galactic study. Humans had developed capabilities that blended biological potential with technological innovation. Their neural networks could process information at speeds that challenged existing computational understanding. They were living, breathing, quantum computers. The Alien Confederation's leadership began emergency reconsideration sessions. The humans they had feared were not a destructive force, but a potentially stabilizing presence in the complex galactic ecosystem. Their approach was not about conquest, but collaboration and problem-solving. Diplomatic exchanges revealed deeper insights. Humans had developed a unique approach to universal challenges. They didn't see problems as threats, but as opportunities for innovative solutions. Their psychological adaptability matched their technological capabilities. Research teams from multiple civilizations began studying human technologies, quantum communication systems that could bridge dimensional barriers, medical technologies that could adapt to multiple biological environments, energy generation systems that were both clean and incredibly efficient. Day's presentation to the Galactic Council became a turning point. She demonstrated how human potential was not about destruction, but about universal problem-solving. Their compressed existence had created a species uniquely capable of addressing complex interdimensional challenges. The first collaborative projects began. Humans were not integrated as a subordinate species, but as critical problem-solvers. Their unique perspective and adaptive capabilities made them valuable partners in addressing universal challenges that had remained unsolved for generations. June's team continued diplomatic negotiations. They were not seeking revenge for their centuries of confinement, but looking to contribute. Each interaction demonstrated a civilization that had transformed centuries of limitation into a powerful, innovative force. The galaxy began to understand. Humans were not a threat to be contained, but a necessary component of universal progress. Their ability to adapt, solve, and innovate made them a critical part of the broader galactic ecosystem. As artificial lights cycled through their programmed patterns, a new era of understanding emerged. Humanity had not just survived their confinement, they had transformed it into their greatest strength. The redemption was complete. Humanity was back, not as conquerors, but as universal problem solvers.